The jury has been sent home for the day in the trial of 4 men accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. After hours of deliberations, still no verdict.
13 on your side's Joshua Vincent has been covering this trial from the very beginning. He's joining us live from outside of the courthouse. Hi, Josh.
Kirk and Juliet, we are on to day 4. That is the theme here at the Ford Federal Court building. The defense lawyers walked into the courthouse about an hour ago and told us that we still have no verdict and that we are on to day 4. And this jury, they've been deliberating for about 24 hours over the last 3 days. And they've been working very hard and very quietly. And some of you at home may be wondering, well, what do you mean by very quietly? Well, take a look at your screen. I'm going to explain how we've only heard from this jury 3 times. Starting on today, the jury came in bright and early at 8:30 and they requested something pretty simple: office supplies. They wanted paper clips and sticky pads. On Tuesday, they asked the judge if they could get their hands on the thousands of pages of transcripts of witness testimony. Now, the judge told jurors that wasn't available at the time and said even if it was, he wouldn't be able to provide that to them, saying that they should rely on their notes and the oral statements made during the trial. And then on the first day of deliberations on Monday, the jury asked the judge for a legal definition of the word weapon, which he consulted both the prosecution and defense lawyers and then gave them a clearer definition of the word. So much is at stake here, guys. Adam Fox, Barry Croft Jr., Daniel Harris, and Brandon Caserta are all charged with a kidnapping conspiracy, and 3 of them also face additional charges, including conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction, namely an explosive. And if convicted, they all could spend the rest of their lives behind bars. So again, the jury is going to be back here at the Ford Federal Courthouse tomorrow at 8:30, bright and early. We'll be there as well, and as soon as that verdict comes down, we're going to bring it to you live. So stick with 13 on your side. We're live outside the Ford Federal Court building this afternoon. Joshua Vincent, 13 on your side.
Thank you, Joshua. The jury, as you just heard in the Governor Whitmer kidnapping plot trial, will now enter day 4 of deliberations tomorrow. 13 on your side, Elena Holland joins us now. She spoke to a legal expert about this. And Elena, is it normal for the jury to take this amount of time?
Juliet, yes, it is. Think about it this way. The trial was nearly 3 weeks. There was a lot of evidence, and there are multiple charges and defendants. Plus, with this high profile of a case, there is a certain amount of pressure on the jury to make sure they get it right. And there are strong arguments on both sides. I spoke with WMU Cooley Law professor Tonya Krause-Phelan, and she said for the prosecution, their strengths are the use of undercover officers or confidential informants. Also, the sheer amount of footage and documents they presented to the jury. For the defense, she said their strongest case is entrapment, which is a really rare case to have enough facts to argue. The jury taking their time, well, that can't necessarily predict the outcome. However, she says the questions the jury is asking the judge shows they're taking their oath very seriously, especially with their request this morning for Post-it notes.
They're probably trying to chart all of this out regarding what testimony applies to which of the 4 defendants and which testimony applying to those 4 defendants relates to one of the particular charges in the indictment. So I think that's probably, I don't want to say slowing down because that indicates that something's amiss, but I think that's why they're giving so much consideration and taking their time, is they've got to sort all of that out.
She wouldn't be surprised if deliberations go on for another day or so, and that should be no cause for concern. At this point, she believes it's not been long enough for the judge to grant a mistrial. That's if they come back saying they're deadlocked. Juliet.
And we will continue to watch. Thank you so much, Elena.